My name's Kayla and this is my story. So I grew up with not a lot of money, but with my brother and my mom who worked all the time, who was also a very hard worker. And me and my brother spent all of our time together, and not having much money, it was working on cars, fixing things up in the woods, anything we could do to waste time pretty much. But little did I know I wasn't wasting time, I was building myself up to the career that I started in, which was mechanics and auto body. And I did that for years. I did it through high school and after high school. Always supported myself, worked really hard, and I was a girl in a guy's world, but I never looked at myself like that. It was almost like I needed to prove myself and work harder just so that nobody looked at me like I was a girl in a guy's world. And while in that industry, I met someone who I ended up marrying, and he was also a mechanic in the military. He kind of inspired me to like open up being more of a girl. He wanted, that typical like make dinner, clean the house, almost stay at home mom, but it was something that I really had to change about myself. And we started a family, and I did end up staying home for a little while, and then it turned a little more into me doing what he wanted and not what I wanted, and my opinions were kind of swept under the rug, or my desires or my goals were just pushed behind, not only because I was raising children, but because I was like being told that's what I had to do. After a few years, we ended up moving to Texas, which is where he was from, and that is where like our relationship turned a lot more, because I had no friends, I had no family, I had no one to really go reach out to, and then the controlling turned more into physical, and just emotionally I was just broken down. I remember so many times just saying that it was easier to get hit than to have your emotions broke down so much. He would never hit me in the face though. He would always say my face is too pretty to hit, I guess. And that's something that really, I never wanted attention from people. I never looked at myself as beautiful. I always just looked at myself as a normal person working, and especially when I was in the mechanic field, it didn't matter what I looked like, I was working. I had somebody from a local church come by my house while my husband was at work and told me that he knew what was going on and that I needed to leave. And at the time I was pregnant, and him and I had formed a little bit of a relationship with like looking to the Lord and really putting yourself into the position of like saying like you're not safe, you don't deserve this, and there was a really strong like pull to go with what he said. My ex-husband learned about that. We got in a huge altercation, and I ended up going to the hospital and getting induced early because the complications with the baby's heartbeat. So I got induced and I came home, and that same guy stopped by and gave me a gas card and told me that I needed to leave, or that he was going to get law enforcement involved, and it's for my children's safety. That I just thought of this little boy, and like, I do not want you to be looking and watching what this man who's supposed to be your father is doing to a female, and I didn't want him to be raised and to learn that that was okay, and that was what made me leave. My daughter was 3 at the time, my son was about a month old. We lived in Texas. It was a 3-day drive. We put our clothes in the car and we left, and we drove. We didn't have enough money to get hotels. We didn't have actually enough money to get here. We got stranded at a rest area, and a girl who was at the rest area actually gave us $20, and that is what got us all the way home, which was here in Oregon, to my mom's house. I immediately needed to figure something else out to do for work, and to just rebuild my family, being with only one income and one parent. And I went to, which everyone was surprised by, beauty school. That's something that's a complete different field of work, line of work, but I needed something that wasn't as hard on my body as what mechanics was very hard to do physically. And I just didn't feel comfortable being around a whole group of guys anymore. It was like it was a spot on my heart that was hurt so bad that I just didn't want to be around it anymore. So I did. I went to beauty school, graduated in like 6 months. Right off the bat, started working at a salon, got my kids and I into our own house. I did it without any of my ex-husband's support or knowledge. He doesn't speak to us at all now, and my kids don't even really ask about him. As I reflect and think about everything that I went through, I realized I had to go to therapy and got a counselor and did all of that just to have someone there to help support me through all of it. But I didn't know what unconditional love was. I knew what conditional love was, so it was, you put yourself into this, if I do this for this person, they'll love me. If I look this way for someone, then they'll love me. And if I go out of my way to help all these people, then they'll love me. But that's just conditional love. That doesn't last, that doesn't stay. And when you have kids, you realize what unconditional love is. When you go through crazy experiences, you understand, or hopefully you'll understand, that unconditional love is whether your hair's done, your makeup's done, you're working your butt off, whether you're at home staying with children and your hair's in a messy bun and you have not any makeup on your face, the person will still be there and still love you. And that's something I think everyone really needs to feel. Hopefully that their parents, usually it's where the unconditional love comes from, is your parents always love you no matter what you feel, what you look like, what you go through. They're always there. And if you don't have that, you end up just putting yourself into this area of, if I'm to these people's standards of doing this or acting this way, then they'll love you. But it's only under a condition, and it's under their conditions, and that won't ever last or fulfill your heart as much as it needs. I just knew that I wanted to be the best role model that I could be for my children and let them know exactly what unconditional love is, and making sure they know whether my daughter wants to be a mechanic and not do any girly stuff, or whoever says what girly and manly things are, that she knows no matter what she does, that I will love her. And same with my son, no matter the choices he makes, no matter where he goes, no matter what in life, that he's unconditionally loved. I unconditionally love myself, and that's where it comes from. You have to love yourself and know we all have bad days, we all go through bad experiences, we all mess up, we all hit rock bottom, and no matter what, we're still human and we still deserve and are worthy of love and to be treated like a human, because that's what humans do.